Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, so let's talk about this Violet Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Chase scene. First of all, I'm very proud of Violet. I'm very proud of Violet because, honestly, to tell you the truth, there's really only one way to sit there and deal with bullies: head on. And anybody that tells you that the best way to sit there and deal with a problem like a bully is to walk away, it's full of shit. Okay? I'll sit there and say it right now. If anyone sits there and tell you the best way to sit there and deal with a bully is to walk away, it's full of shit. Okay? So I'm very, very, very proud of Violet. But with that being said, I don't know what is going on behind the scenes of General Hospital, the production, or whatever, right? But it's almost as though they didn't sit there and really think this thing through when they decided to fire Mike Reister, right? Like they just let him go. And did they just forget that his character has a daughter? I mean, it didn't seem like they were going to sit there and recast or anything. So what are we doing at this point? I mean, afterwards, Brooklyn gets a call and from the principal or somebody, and it was like, we need to sit there and see Violet's legal guardian. Now, I know that they had a temporary custody order. Keyword being temporary. So I'm very curious of how they're going to sit there and kind of dig themselves out of this hole. You know, this little argument that Trina and Gio had was pretty pointless, right? So Gio is outside playing. Trina's not there, talking to him and stuff like that. And Trina's like, listen, I want to sit there and kind of reschedule you. And Gio pretty much is like, hell to the no. I'm not sitting there working with that murderous bastard. Um, after what she did to Christina, that ain't happening. And so Trina, pretty much is like, okay, fine. I won't sit there and ask you ish ever again. And walks off. Now I looked at it and I'm like, okay, cool. Listen, I get that you feel some sort of way about Ava. But there was a nicer way he could have went about it as opposed to the attitude that he gave her. Because that was just really over the top. Again, it just didn't even really matter because Johnson came in there. Johnson said some words like, listen, both of those two, I don't like either one of them, but, their issue shouldn't be your issues. And then he just make up and he just has to sit there and play for Trina, and that's pretty much about it at the gallery. And it was one of those things where it's like, was this scene even really worth having? You know? Um, Now Rick is not there talking to Ava, and Ava's like, well, Rick is not there talking to Ava about the whole testing and stuff, and Ava's like, listen, if somebody, maybe somebody wanted to make sure that Heather didn't get out of jail, somebody who wanted to make sure that she stayed in her damn cage, pretty much. And Rick is like, maybe it has to be somebody who can walk around freely, who has really an axe to grind with her, has a history with her, and has access, unauthorized access or whatever, to pretty much like the whole lab and everything. And they've already put it right together. And when she tried to sit there and, I guess, point him in different directions by just saying, well, there's a lot of people at GH that don't like Heather, so, you can sit there and take your pick. Rick was like, okay, who are you protecting? I haven't been in this town that long, and I know that you would not just sit there and stick your neck out for anyone. So who is it? Ava convinces Rick to kind of drop the whole trying to find out who it is, whoever the mystery person is. Saying that would just be too long or whatever, too much long of a whole thing, a whole witch hunt or whatever, to try to find out who the suspect is. So Rick was like, okay, you know what, for right now, I'll drop it. And Ava goes to Portia and pretty much kind of give her a heads up. And at first, Portia plays coy, and she realizes that, like, yo, listen, if Ava found that out, if Ava found out that somebody tampered with it, like that short a bit of a time, it's only a matter of time before Rick figures it out. So she starts panicking a little bit, and Ava's like, listen, just chill out, just play it cool. I'll help you out. Because that's the last thing that Trina needs and wants, and she's going to sit there and want to blame herself. The end of her career. And, like, not just the end of her career, I'm pretty sure she can do jail time at this point. So it's a lot more than just the end of her career. Now, Rick does sit there and call Ava and it's like, listen, I'm gonna drop the whole, searching for whoever this mystery person is, and I'm pretty sure I can get have this case overturned. Problem with that is that even if Rick drops, they're trying to find out the mystery person, the course is going to do the due diligence. The hospital is going to do the due diligence. They're going to sit there and be like, who messed up that test? And again, it's only going to be a matter of time before somebody, gets caught. Now, eventually Portia's going to get caught, but of course, I'm guessing, and a lot of other people are guessing, that she's going to point the finger at Brad first. Speaking of Brad, Lucas is back. Catches up with Carly for a minute, and then goes straight to the hospital. Which, by the way, I guess is kind of interesting. There's technically two Lucases. Lucky's actual name is Lucas. I guess Lucas is second, and I guess Lucas would be Lucas the third. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how the order goes. But he goes to Brad, and he makes it very clear, like, yo, listen, I'm coming back to this hospital to work. We talk. It's just going to be about work. I ain't trying to get back together with you. I want nothing to do with you, and I still don't forgive you. Now, I'm not a fan of Brad by any means. I understood why he did what he did. Obviously, there was a better way as far as just telling the truth. But you understood, when you you understood how he came down that rabbit hole. I don't feel bad for him, because he made his own mess. It is what it is. But I understand why he did what he did, though. I'm pretty sure they're going to probably put those two together anyway. Now, as far as, yeah, and by the way, there's a new Lucas, and he's fine so far. He has the personality and everything like that, so I don't know if he has the same personality as the other Lucas. I don't even remember. But he's doing fine so far. Now Carly comes to see Sonny. And after telling each other about Lucas being back and Lucky being back, which again is technically two Lucases, Carly's like, alright, so what are we going to do about the whole Alexis problem? How are we going to sit there and protect her? How are we going to sit there and get her out and everything like that? And Sonny's like, we got to try to find a gun. Carly's like, what happens if we don't find this gun? Sonny's like, well, guess I'm going to have to sit there and turn myself in. Which will be the right thing to do, by the way. I mean, hell, I do agree with Carly that the world is a much better place, except for maybe his son would probably disagree with that, but the world's a lot better place without John in it. Um, Sonny did sit there and catch up with Lucky for a hot minute. They didn't talk about anything too specific, except for he thinks that he should have been back there sooner. He should have been back there a lot sooner, and that his dad wouldn't have been proud of him. He's also worried about his interaction with his son. And part of me made, at one point, because I didn't know what time it was, I was like, you're doing a lot of all these other pit stops except for seeing your son. Are you like stalling or something like that? But then Sonny was like, it wasn't even like school was out yet and stuff. So, but he's just worried about, I don't know, I guess seeing his son in a very long time. And he admits that he dropped the ball as far as trying to communicate back with his son. And I don't really understand how that wound up happening because he was always more about family and everything, and now it's like, oh, he's more like Luke. So it's like, okay, that's something that Luke would have did. I mean, I remember when I started watching the show, Lulu used to go ice fishing with with Luke. He hated ice fishing. And honestly, to tell you the truth, the fact that Luke didn't have common sense to sit there and be like, maybe my daughter does not want to be out here in the freezing cold ice fishing. And now you're making Lucky just as bad of a father as Luke. Um, he also got a chance to catch up with Isaiah, and at one point he asked Isaiah, could he scrub in or whatever. But Isaiah was like, listen, I'm never going back to surgery ever again until like maybe about 4 months or whatever when he starts working back at the hospital. So yeah, that problem's gonna be broken. Um. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. That's the gist of the episode. Now, I might have missed some stuff here or there, but that is the essentials of the episode. If I missed anything, write it in the comment section below. Or better yet, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.